terrifying to realize something nobody told me when I needed it the most. I grew up believing that wealth was a distant prize reserved for a lucky few. And while I believed so, I was unconsciously repeating the same sentences that had programmed my family for generations. Money is dirty. Only people who kill themselves working deserve to prosper. You have to suffer if you want to succeed. Maybe you grew up hearing similar phrases, words that seemed harmless, but sank into your mind like invisible seeds. And those seeds didn't grow into abundance, they grew into scarcity. Today I want to show you something very few people dare to reveal, because what you're about to hear can flip your world upside down. It's not your talent that determines your destiny. It's not your degrees. It's not the hours you work. It's not even how much you sacrifice. The truth is much more uncomfortable and much more liberating. The real reason so many people work endlessly and still feel that it's never enough is not outside of them. It's here inside, in an invisible code that directs every decision, every emotion, every step. And most shocking part, you didn't choose that code. It was implanted in you when you were a child, at a time when your mind had no defenses. But I want you to hear this clearly. If that code could be implanted, it can also be rewritten. So listen closely, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to break the formula of scarcity and activate the inner state where abundance is no longer a dream. It becomes your new identity. And before we continue this journey, I want to invite you to be part of this community. You are now on Napoleon Inspires, a space created to reveal the secrets that transform your mind and your life. If you feel that these words are already touching something inside you, subscribe right now, hit the notification bell, like this video, and write in the comments. I am prosperity in motion. Don't write it as something mechanical. Write it as a vibrational pact that the universe will read in your name. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wasn't just talking about piling up money. He was pointing to something much deeper. How your invisible thoughts, beliefs, and emotions create a visible destiny. He called it burning desire and autosuggestion. And even if those words sound old-fashioned, what he was really describing is the same code that science is confirming today. Your mind shapes your reality. I discovered this code through pain. I remember nights working until pure exhaustion. I dreamed of giving my family a different life, but every end of the month was the same movie. Bills to pay, debts multiplying, and a feeling of defeat sitting heavy on my chest. I kept telling myself, maybe I need to work even harder. Maybe I'm just not cut out for abundance. And in the middle of that desperation, I found a phrase from Napoleon Hill that hit me like lightning. Every achievement begins in the mind first. I stopped. I read it again, and it felt like it was speaking directly to me, because I finally understood it wasn't the lack of hours that was holding me back. It was the invisible script I'd been carrying since childhood. Maybe you felt the same. Maybe you also grew up in a home where phrases like these sounded like absolute truth. Money is never enough. Better poor and honest than rich and corrupt. That kind of life is not for people like us. I want you to really think about this for a moment. How many times did you hear those phrases before the age of 10? How many times did you see your parents argue about money or live constantly worried? Have you noticed how those scenes got recorded in your mind like movies? And today, without realizing it, you're still replaying them? Napoleon Hill taught that a child's mind is like fertile soil where any seed will grow, whether it's good or bad. And in my case, most of the seeds were fear, lack, and resignation. Those seeds grew into habits, emotions, and an identity that made me feel like wealth was always out of reach. But here comes the powerful part. If those seeds could be planted, they can also be uprooted and replaced. He'll call it autosuggestion. Joe Dispenza calls it subconscious reprogramming. Different words, same truth. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and felt that no matter what you do, you always end up in the same place? You work more, you try harder, you push yourself, and yet abundance keeps slipping through your fingers like water. If your answer is yes, it's not because you're incapable. It's because you're trying to change an internal program with external action alone. It's like trying to change a ship's destination by rowing harder, while the rudder is still turned in the opposite direction. Napoleon Hill said that wealth begins in the mind. Dispenza says the field responds to your state of being. I discovered that both teachings converge in one unbreakable truth. Abundance is not a destination you arrive at. Abundance is an identity you embody. That was the beginning of my transformation. The day I stopped blaming my job, my boss, the economy, or bad luck, and started questioning the code that had been implanted in me as a child. That day, I realized that if I want to change my life, I first had to change my inner vibration. Maybe you felt this too. That sense of running and running, but never really moving forward. Like being on a treadmill. You spend energy, you sweat, you push yourself, but in the end, you're still in the same place. That was my reality for years. Maybe it's yours now. I would wake up early, work more hours than anyone, do everything that was expected of me. Yet at the end of the month, my bank account told a completely different story. Piled up bills, debts multiplying, broken promises. I whispered to myself, next month will be different. Next month, I'll finally get ahead. But nothing changed. Does this sound familiar? Have you promised yourself, this time I'll save, this time I won't get into debt, this time I'll finally move forward, only to end up repeating the same cycle again? Most people live trapped in that loop. Work, pay, get into debt, survive, like a broken clock stuck on the same hour. And the cruelest part is we start to believe that this is normal life. Napoleon Hill once wrote that most people die poor, not because they lack wealth, but because they never sought it with the right knowledge. That phrase is like a mirror. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of talent. It's not even a lack of effort. It's that we are following an invisible script we didn't write. That script is a silent prison. It has no iron bars, no visible walls, but it controls every step you take. It's that voice in your head that says, that dream is too big for you. If you fail, everyone will laugh at you. Don't risk it. Stay where it's safe. Do you recognize it? That voice is not really you. It's the echo of old beliefs implanted in you as a child. Beliefs you now repeat without even noticing. They function like automatic programs that sabotage every attempt to change. And the more you fight against your outer reality, the stronger that inner prison becomes. It's like punching the walls of an invisible cage. You get tired, you get frustrated, and eventually you feel there is no way out. Let me ask you something very intimate. How many times have you felt that no matter how much you work, money always escapes? How many times have you looked at someone who prospers easily and thought, that will never work for me? How many nights has anxiety about bills, fear of the future, or constant comparison with others stolen your peace? That's where the prison becomes more dangerous. Because it doesn't just affect your bank account. It hits your self-esteem, your faith, your capacity to dream. When you live trapped in that state, life becomes pure survival. You wake up not to create, but to put out fires. You go to bed not with gratitude, but with exhaustion. Little by little, almost without noticing, you start to forget who you really are. But listen to me, you're not alone. More than half of humanity is living under the same script. Brilliant people, talented people, people with extraordinary gifts, but stuck inside the field of scarcity. Not because they chose it, but because nobody taught them to question the code. So I want you to pause for a moment. Look honestly at your life and ask yourself, am I living free, or am I just repeating a program I never chose? If the answer hurts, that's okay. That pain is a sign you're about to wake up. Because here comes the revelation that changes everything. The enemy is not out there. It's not your boss. It's not the government. It's not the economy. The real obstacle has always been inside. Napoleon Hill discovered this more than a century ago while studying the richest men of his time. What set them apart was not luck, not formal education, not even the money they started with. It was something much more subtle, their mental vibration, their ability to think, feel, and act from a frequency of wealth, even when the external evidence still said otherwise. Joe Dispenza confirms it with science. The quantum field does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your state of being. You don't attract what you desperately want. You attract what you already are vibrationally. Do you see how powerful this is? It's not just what you do that opens doors. It's who you are while you do it. That's why you may have been pushing, struggling, and running for years. But if inside you're still vibrating scarcity, life can only mirror more of the same. It's like trying to tune into a classical music station while your antenna is locked on a static. You can move the antenna in every direction, try every angle, but until you change the frequency, you'll never hear a different melody. So think about this. What frequency are you sustaining right now? The frequency of constant worry, fear of not making it to the end of the month? Or the frequency of certainty, gratitude, and trust that you are already enough? Here's the uncomfortable but liberating truth. You don't need to have a lot of money to feel abundant. You don't need an external sign to finally believe in yourself. What you truly need is to change your inner state. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. Reality begins to move in your favor. People, ideas, opportunities start showing up without you forcing them. The universe rushes to confirm the vibration you sustain. So hear this clearly. It's not just what you do. It's what you are while you do it. That's the code you've been missing. And when you activate it, your world starts to reorganize from the inside out. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like an antenna. Every thought, every emotion is a signal you send into the universe. If you hold fear, worry, anxiety, your antenna vibrates at that frequency. And just like with any radio station, what you receive back is exactly what you're tuned to. This isn't poetry. It's science. Neuroscience shows that when you intensely visualize an experience, your brain activates the same neural networks as if you were living it physically. In other words, your body doesn't distinguish between what you imagine with emotion and what you live in the external world. Joe Dispenza calls this mental rehearsal. Napoleon Hill called it autosuggestion. Two different languages. Same eternal truth. What you hold inside becomes your reality outside. Let me give you a simple metaphor. If you plant an apple seed in the ground, would you expect a tree full of oranges? Impossible. The fruit will always match the seed. Your thoughts and emotions are those invisible seeds. If you plant scarcity, you harvest scarcity. If you plant abundance, you harvest abundance. And here's the fascinating part. Your brain doesn't argue with the seed you plant. It doesn't say, this is real and this is just imagination. It simply responds. It releases chemicals, fires neural pathways, and trains your body to believe that what you feel is already real. That's why so many people stay trapped in the past, because they keep feeling over and over the same emotions of pain, failure, or lack. And since their body believes it's still living there, life has no choice but to reflect that state again and again. Do you see it now? This is not magic. It's biology. Your body is the stage where the script of your mind is performed. If you change the script, you change the entire play. So let me ask you, what scenes does your mind replay every day? The scene of fear of not having enough? The scene of comparison with others who are prospering? Or the scene of a future where you walk with confidence, gratitude, and fullness? The principle is simple, although not always easy. The field doesn't respond to what you wish for. It responds to what you rehearse. If you rehearse lack, you will live lack. If you rehearse abundance, you will live abundance. And this is where the impossible begins to look possible. Because you don't have to wait for something to change on the outside. You just need to rehearse, feel, and sustain the frequency of what you want inside. And when you do it consistently, the quantum field has no choice but to mirror it. I want to share with you the exercise that changed my life, and that can change yours. It's so simple that at first I thought it was ridiculous, but it was so powerful that it ended up reorganizing my entire reality. You only need 20 minutes a day, not 5 hours, not endless studying. 20 focused minutes that, if you use them with intention, can break decades of scarcity programming. And no, it's not about working harder, planning more, or forcing yourself. It's about becoming someone different before the external evidence appears. This is how it works. For those 20 minutes, you choose to feel and live internally the life you desire. Not as a distant dream, not as a maybe one day, but as if it were happening now. This is what I did. Every day, I closed my eyes and visualized myself walking into spaces of abundance. I saw myself in a bright environment, wearing the clothes I wanted to wear, breathing the calm of someone who no longer worries about bills or debts. I imagined how people greeted me with respect, how doors opened with ease, how everything flowed in perfect order. And here's the detail that changes everything. It's not enough to imagine. You have to feel. Feel the texture of the clothes on your skin, the sound of the voices around you, the warmth of the light, the certainty of having more than enough. The more real the scene felt in my mind, the more my body started responding as if it were actually true. And then I discovered something incredible. The brain doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. When you truly feel it, if you feel it now, it is already real for your nervous system. And that's crucial because your energetic field responds to what your body believes, not just to what your mind thinks. So let me ask you, how would you walk if you already were prosperous? How would you breathe if you knew your life was taken care of? What expression would be on your face if abundance was your natural state? That's the secret. Think, act, and feel like your future self now. At first, I felt ridiculous. A part of me wanted to laugh. Another part wanted to quit. But with each repetition, something began to shift. My emotions changed. My breathing became calmer. My thoughts started aligning with this new identity. It was like training a new muscle. Except this time, the muscle was my identity. And with every training session, the old version of me, the one trapped in scarcity, grew weaker. I want you to try it too. Just 20 minutes a day. You can do it in the morning when your mind is fresh, or at night before bed, when your subconscious is more open. Close your eyes. Choose a specific scene from your ideal life, and live it with all your senses. Not as an observer, but as the main character. Feel the gratitude of being there. Listen to the sounds. Notice the details. Do it every day, even if at the beginning it feels unnatural. Remember, as a child you pretended all the time. A broom became a horse. A blanket was a superhero cape, and your body believed it. Why stop using that power now? Pretending with intention is not lying. It's creating. It's telling the universe, I already am this, until reality has no choice but to agree. I started with small scenes, signing a contract, celebrating a win, living in peace. And little by little, those scenes became familiar, and then inevitable. Because here's the truth. You don't attract what you wish for. You attract what you rehearse. And every time you rehearse your future self, your quantum field rearranges itself to reflect that in your life. When I started this 20-minute experiment, at first nothing looked different on the outside. The world still looked the same. Bills, responsibilities, same routine. But inside, something was moving. My breathing slowed. My thoughts became less chaotic. And even though the external results weren't visible yet, a quiet certainty started to grow. I'm not the same anymore. And then, what always happens when your internal state changes, happened. The field responded. Suddenly, people appeared with solutions I could never have planned. An unexpected call, an offer that seemed to come out of nowhere, ideas that showed up as if they had been waiting for my signal. It felt like the universe had been watching me all along, waiting for me to adjust my frequency so it could finally send me what had always been ready for me. I remember a particular day. I was stuck in a project that wouldn't move forward. Out of nowhere, I received a message from someone I barely knew, offering exactly the resource I needed, at exactly the right time. I didn't chase it. I didn't force it. It just appeared. And then I understood the truth Napoleon Hill had repeated so many times. When the mind is ready, opportunities appear. Has it ever happened that you think of someone, and they suddenly call you? Or you imagine something intensely, and then you see it show up in your physical reality? That's not coincidence. It's resonance. It's the field reorganizing itself to reflect what you already are inside. Now imagine this. What would happen if every single day you sent a clear signal of abundance, gratitude, and certainty? What doors could open? What invisible paths could light up in front of you? This is not about waiting for passive miracles. It's about becoming a living magnet that attracts what it already holds within. That's why the opportunities that start showing up are not luck. They're the natural consequence of your new vibration. Think of your energy field as a mirror. If inside you hold doubt, fear, and scarcity, the mirror can only show you more of the same. But if you hold certainty, gratitude, and abundance, the reflection will inevitably be a life of expansion. And here's the most beautiful part. When you begin to embody your abundant self, it's not just your bank account that changes. Your way of speaking changes. Your posture changes. The way you look at people changes. Your energy inspires trust. You attract alliances. You command respect. You're no longer someone who chases. You become someone who attracts. And that's when something magical happens. You stop feeling like a beggar in front of life and start living as proof that abundance already exists in you. Now I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror. Not just any mirror. This mirror doesn't reflect your clothes, your age, or your wrinkles. It reflects your internal frequency. This quantum mirror doesn't show who you were or who you're afraid of becoming. It shows what you are vibrating right now. So answer honestly. If you looked into that mirror today, what would you see? Fear of the future? Scarcity disguised as effort? Or someone walking with the certainty that they're already abundant? The first time I did this exercise, I didn't like what I saw. I saw doubt. I saw exhaustion. I saw a man trapped in survival mode. And it hit me hard because I finally realized it wasn't life limiting me. It was me sustaining that frequency day after day. But here's the powerful thing. That mirror is not a life sentence. It's an opportunity. What you see in it is not a fixed destiny. It's just the echo of an old identity that you can dissolve right now. So look again. Breathe deep and consciously choose another vibration. Choose to see someone worthy, complete, prosperous. Choose to see yourself as a creator, not as a victim. Because the field responds to who you are in this instant, not who you were yesterday. Every conscious breath, every elevated thought, every emotion of gratitude is a new reflection in that quantum mirror. And here's the truth nobody taught us. You are not chasing prosperity. You're prosperity in motion. When you embody that certainty, the universe has no choice but to confirm it. So ask yourself today, will you keep looking at yourself through the eyes of scarcity? Or will you dare to see the abundant version of yourself that already exists, waiting to be activated? That's the turning point. The instant you stop being a prisoner of your past and become the creator of your future. Now that you know the code, I want to give you a simple guide to start today. 3 practical steps to reprogram your vibration and open yourself to a new reality. Step 1, the morning and night ritual. When you wake up and before you sleep, close your eyes and spend just a few minutes feeling your abundance. Don't check your phone first. Don't dive straight into worries. Imagine the life you desire as if it were already present. Breathe, smile, give thanks. Those moments are portals. Your mind is in slower brain waves and more open to new programming. Step 2, micro sensations during the day. You don't need to wait for meditation or practice. As you walk, work, or talk to someone, make small adjustments. How will my abundant self walk right now? What tone would my abundant self use to speak? How would I breathe if I were already at peace? These little gestures may seem insignificant, but they train your body to embody the identity of your future. Step 3, the vibrational decree. Every day, write and repeat this phrase out loud. I am prosperity in motion. Don't say it as an empty affirmation. Say it as a command to the field, as a pact with your new identity. Every repetition strengthens the message, not only in your mind, but in your cells, your energy, your field. 3 simple steps, 3 powerful keys. Morning and night, feel. During the day, act. At the end, declare. Remember it like this. Morning and night, you feel. During the day, you embody. With your words, you seal. Do this for 7 days, and you'll feel your energy shift. Do it for 30 days, and your identity won't be the same. Because when you change who you are inside, the universe has no choice but to reflect it outside. And now I want you to understand something crucial. Silence is not absence. Silence is reality rearranging itself in invisible planes before it appears in front of your eyes. That's why staying is the most powerful act you can practice. Stay, and the field will stay with you. Even if you don't yet see external evidence, trust the frequency you're holding inside you. Napoleon Hill said, "Patience, persistence, and sweat make an unbeatable combination for success." Today we can add something more, the right vibration, because working hard is not enough. You must vibrate in coherence with who you already are. So let your life become proof. Don't beg for signs. Become the sign. Don't beg for abundance. Walk as abundance in motion. Don't wait for external proof. Be the living proof that your identity has already changed. And now, I want to invite you to seal this moment. If this message resonated with you, join our community here on Napoleon Inspires. Subscribe, activate the bell, and like this video. But above all, leave in the comments the phrase, "I am prosperity in motion." Don't do it mechanically. Do it as a vibrational pact. Each comment will be like a wave, expanding, an echo in the field that confirms your decision. And every time you read that phrase, you'll remember that you've already taken the first step toward your new identity. This is your moment. The moment you leave behind the old chemistry of scarcity and decide to embody abundance as your present truth. Take a deep breath. Look again into that quantum mirror. What you see is not a distant dream. It's you here and now. You're not waiting for prosperity. You are prosperity, and the universe is simply responding. But now, I want you to hear something that most people never realize, something that separates those who transform their lives from those who stay trapped in the same cycle forever. Your future is not created by chance. Your future is created by repetition. Just think about it. Every belief you have today was programmed through repetition. Every fear that controls you was installed through repetition. Every limitation you think is just part of who you are is nothing but a repeated thought you heard enough times to believe. So if repetition created the old you, repetition can create the new you. This is the part that changes everything. You do not rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your programming. Unless you rewrite it. This is why what you're doing right now matters. This is why listening to a message like this is not random. This is why you found Napoleon Inspires right when you did. Something in you is waking up. That's not an accident. That's alignment. And once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. You can't go back to believing that you're a victim. You can't go back to thinking that your life is controlled by the economy. You can't go back to thinking small when your soul already tasted expansion. There's a reason why your heart is beating faster as you listen. A reason why something inside you whispers, "This is my moment." A reason why you feel this message is speaking to you. Because it is. You've been waiting for permission to rise. This is that permission. You've been waiting for a sign to change. This is the sign. You've been waiting for life to give you a push. This is that push. Let me tell you something important. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the soul is ready, the path appears. When your frequency rises, the universe responds. And you are rising. Now listen carefully, because this part is crucial. You're not becoming abundance. You are remembering abundance. We are born abundant. We are born limitless. We are born connected to something bigger than fear. But the world teaches us how to shrink, how to hide, how to doubt, how to survive instead of create. And now you are unlearning the lie and returning to the truth. Your truth. The truth that says you are capable. The truth that says you are worthy. The truth that says your desires exist because they were assigned to you. The truth that says abundance is not outside of you. It is inside, waiting for you to claim it. And here's the most powerful realization of all. Your life changes the moment you change the identity from which you live. Not when you get the money. Not when you get the opportunity. Not when someone finally believes in you. Your life changes the moment you decide, "This is who I am now." And I want you to hear this with every cell of your body. You are not the character your past wrote. You're the author of the story you choose to live next. But authors don't wait. Authors write. Creators don't hesitate. Creators act. Leaders don't ask for permission. Leaders declare. So declare it now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. I am prosperity in motion. I'm abundance embodied. I'm the creator of my reality. I am rewriting my identity with power, clarity, and purpose. Feel that. Breathe that. Own that. Because this is where the shift happens. And let me tell you what's going to start happening once you commit to this path. You will think of someone, and that person will message you. You will have an idea, and the exact opportunity will appear. You will ask for guidance, and clarity will come faster than ever. People will look at you and sense something different. Your energy will feel magnetic. Doors that were closed will open. Situations that were stuck will move. Things that used to scare you will no longer have power. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. The world is just a mirror. And you are finally changing the reflection. If you've made it this far, it's not by accident. You are one of the few who feel the shift, who sense the calling, who recognize that their life is meant for more. This message wasn't meant for millions. It was meant for the ones who are ready. And you are ready. This is the beginning of a new identity. The identity of someone who doesn't chase prosperity, but vibrates it. Someone who doesn't beg for opportunities, but attracts them. Someone who doesn't fear the future, but creates it. Someone who doesn't shrink, but expands. Someone who doesn't survive, but leads. Welcome to the version of you that your soul has been waiting to meet. Welcome to the identity that will open doors you thought were impossible. Welcome to your new frequency. And welcome, officially, to Napoleon Inspires. Your transformation starts now. Not someday. Not next month. Not when life gets easier. Now, because your prosperity in motion. And the universe has already begun responding.